Alright, what up, homie? We're gonna get started. About a 45-minute practice. Let me set this timer. We have 45 minutes. And again, I really want us to be able to warm up around the hips, warm up the glutes, the hamstrings. And so if we can warm them up in the beginning, the stretches towards the end will be a lot richer. And we'll keep coming back to the breath because again, like I've been saying, none of this stuff really works until you can breathe as you practice. So we're gonna start seated, doing some breath. Any way that's comfortable. You can sit with your ankles crossed. You can sit up onto a block or maybe a cushion so that the pelvis tilts a bit forward. Or even if the knees can take it, I like to sit up this way. Knees together, hips to the heels. And I like to tuck my toes so that the arches or my lack of arches get a bit of a stretch. So regardless of whatever seat position you take, we want the shoulders over the hips so the spine can be long. Belly soft so that the attention can really be on the breath. So wherever you are, start to begin to exhale, empty out your lungs. Close your eyes if you can. Take an inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a moment at the top. And then exhale through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Another breath in. 2, 3, 4. Holding at the top. And then through the nose, exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose. Feeling the lungs fill up. Feeling the spaciousness between the ribs. Then hold it at the top for a moment. Keeping the mouth closed, exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Shoulders stay floating over the hips. Belly stays nice and soft. Feel full at the top. Slowly exhale. Keep the chest lifted. Relax the jaw. And just feel the belly hug in towards the center. 2 more. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Holding for 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that breathing exercise go and just resume normal breathing, whatever that feels like for you now. And if you have the toes tucked like I did, you're probably feeling some energy and quite a bit in the bottoms of the feet. So we're gonna take the tabletop pose, and if you did that tucked toes, I want you to kind of pedal your feet out like that. Getting that stacking quality, shoulders, wrists, hips, knees, and we're gonna begin to warm up through the wrists. So I want you to shift your shoulders forward over the fingertips, and then bring the shoulders back over the wrists. 2 more times, shifting forward, steady your palms, and then exhale, shoulders over the wrists. 1 more time like that, shoulders forward, and the shoulders back. Now I want you to start to flip your fingers so that they face 3 and 9 o'clock, and then begin to shift a little right and a little left. And by 3 and 9 o'clock, I mean like this. Now as you work, try and keep the bend out of the elbows. Try and push into the palms steady. And notice if your tailbone's wanting to arch back, keep the core engaged, hug the belly in, tuck your tailbone, and stay solid through the lower half of the body. Using that space, remember that protraction in the spine we found the other day, rather than letting the shoulders drop, push the floor away and lift your spine through your shoulder blades. Not necessarily all the way into a curl, but a full back. And then flip your fingers so that they face towards the knees if you can, and then shift forward and back. Right, especially with all the drumming, probably the wrists have a lot of tension because you need to keep the, I don't know, I would imagine that the wrist is tense a lot when you are drumming. So we're just kind of breaking up and easing up some of that tension. Okay, flip the fingers again back to 3 and 9 o'clock, shift a little right, a little left, and then bring the fingers forward, shift a little forward and a little back. Okay, Tuck your toes, seat your hips back to your heels, extend your arms out, and then open and close the hands. Arms stay straight, shoulders relax away from the ears, sides of the neck nice and long. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then open the palms and then really spread them open. So you're beginning to pulse through the hands. Pulse, 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 pulse. Keep the elbows straight. Keep the shoulders onto the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Interlace your fingers and roll the wrists a bit. Start slow. And if you can keep the shoulders pretty secure, you can speed up, but just don't let the whole arm start to go crazy. Circle the other way too a few times. Okay, from here, like you're cracking your knuckles, extend your palms forward and really try and press through that whole palm. Then I want you to lift the butt off the heels and stretch your wrist up towards the ceiling. So I'm going to face forward now and I'm going to mirror you. So take your right leg out to the side and seal the edge of the right foot to the floor. Then inhale, stretch and reach up, and then begin to stretch over that right leg so that the left side of your body is beginning to open. If this is too much in your arms, you can ease up on that grip and let the palms face one another, or take your right hand, hold your left wrist and begin to stretch. But if you can keep that interlace, you should feel something for sure. Outer edge of that extended leg stays steady. One more breath here. And then come back up to the center and put your left hand down to the floor and stretch and reach your right arm across the body so you're looking up towards your bicep. So there's a nice even line from the edge of that extended foot through the edge of your extended arm. All right, bring it back up to the center, and then we're just gonna switch sides. So tuck that leg in and extend the opposite leg out, your left leg, we'll say. Interlace your fingers, stretch forward, reach the arms up, and begin to reach over to the extended leg. So you're reaching over to your left now. Outer edge of that right foot stays steady, or of your left foot stays steady. Really asking this right side of your body to open and expand as the left side holds you securely. Rotating the palms to face one another if you need to, grabbing hold of the top wrist if that helps. And then bring it back up to the center, put your right hand down, and stretch and reach the left arm across the body. If you're on your fingertips, make sure that they're not like double jointed, but really be on the tips of the fingers. But if you can put your whole palm down too, that's an option. All right, bring it back up to the center. And then we're gonna go back to the tabletop pose. So shoulders, wrists, hips, knees. Now drop your belly, lift your chin, arch your back. And as you exhale, curl the tailbone, push into the palms, chin to the chest. 2 more times. Inhale, drop the belly, chin up, butt up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, lift the belly up, and chin towards your chest. Last one, inhale, steady palms as you begin to look up. And exhale, curling up and in. Good. Now take your right leg back, extend the leg back, and flex the toes. So when you flex your toes, imagine the heel extending backwards in space. Then maybe you draw your left arm forward here too, and the bicep stays by the ear. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, knee to the elbow, rounding the spine, stay steady in your palm. Inhale, take the limbs long. Maybe you look forward. Exhale, knee to the elbow, curling in. One more like this, inhale, and as you exhale, knee to the elbow. Inhale, take the limbs long. Now I want you to bend your right knee and reach over your left shoulder and try and catch that right foot. If you can't quite do that yet, you could put a block under your right hand and lift you up a bit higher, and that should make it easier to grab the foot. Once you grab the foot, start to kick the foot back, look forward, and hopefully you begin to feel some stretch along that outer left shoulder. Again, the higher up you get this right hand, maybe on blocks or books, the easier it will be to grab that back foot. Oh, I have a block. So I'm up higher, easier to grab, and then I start to kick. But eventually, it's just a hand down. One more breath here, and then release the limbs, go long, exhale, elbow to the knee around the spine. Put the limbs back down and just begin to swivel the hips a bit, clockwise, and then go counterclockwise. Steady palms, steady shins, back to the center, left leg extends back, flex your toes towards your face, and really extend the heel bone back in space. And if you can, throw the right arm up and start to breathe. Push into your left palm so you don't collapse the shoulder. Inhale, exhale, knee to the elbow, curl. Inhale to extend, keep your left shoulder over your left wrist. Exhale, curl in, shoulder stays over the wrist. One more, inhale, extend, exhale, elbow to the knee. Inhale to extend, and when you're ready, you bend your left knee, catch a hold of that foot, and start to kick the foot back to open up the chest. Steady in the left palm, and as you kick back, feel the shoulder opening, the chest on the right side opening, thinking toes towards the ceiling as you try and keep your hips square to the floor. Again, a block or some books under that left hand if you can't quite catch your foot yet will make it more accessible. 3, kick a little more if you can, 2, and 1, extend the arms the leg long, exhale one time, knee to the elbow. Put the limbs down, and then again moving the hips around clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, inhale, take your right leg back, exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, take your right leg back. Now I want you to step your right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Tuck your back toes. You're going to shoot off that back leg, and basically the ankles are going to touch, and you start to find your balance. So the right glute, the right hamstring really fires up. If you can, lift your arms up and sit your butt low. Put your hands back down. Put your left shin back down to the floor. Inhale, extend back, knee to the nose, round, curl in. 2 more times. Inhale, leg back. Step the foot to the outside of the wrist, tuck your back toes. Shoot forward, do a little ankle tap, low butt, high heart. Hands back down, left shin down. Inhale, leg back, knee to the nose, curling in. Last one, inhale, leg back, right foot outside right wrist, tuck your back toes, do the ankle tap, low butt, high heart. Hands down, left shin down. Inhale, leg back, knee to the nose. Take the leg back, tabletop. Move the hips around and hopefully you're feeling it in the right butt, the right hamstring, a little bit of warmth. Take your left leg back, inhale, knee to the nose, exhale. Inhale, leg back, step your foot to the outside of the wrist, tuck your back toes. Scooted forward, first one slow. Ankle tap, get your balance, feel the center of your left heel on the floor. Then sit your butt a little lower, lift your chest a bit higher, maybe no hands. Hands back to the floor, right shin down. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to the nose. Good, 2 more. Inhale, leg back. Foot goes outside of the left hand. Stay low, ankle tap. Hands down, right shin down. Inhale, leg back. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, leg back. Step the foot outside of the wrist. Ankle tap, low butt, high chest. Hands down, right shin down. Inhale, leg back. Knee to the nose. Leg goes back and you're in the tabletop pose. Now tuck your toes, hover the knees just a little bit, like an inch off the floor. Inhale, drop the belly, but keep the knees the same height. Really pick your tailbone up. And then as you exhale, curl. Tuck your tailbone, push the floor away with your palms, and keep the knees the same height. 2 more. Inhale, arching the back. Exhale, curling the spine. Last one, inhale, arching the back, tailbone up. Exhale, tucking the tailbone, pushing the floor away, and downward facing dog. Paddle out the feet a little bit, and breathe. And so I think for you, rather than the middle finger facing forward, have the pointer finger facing forward, so that you've really got a bit of rotation in the arms, a sense of space for the shoulders. And again, knees bending so you can really bend your butt bones up towards the ceiling. Push the floor away and notice how my arms and ears are lined up, rather than the chin tucked in or rather than the face looking out. Arms by the ears. So shift forward to your plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. It's the same as we did in the tabletop, except now your legs are, the knees are not on the floor. Shoulders over the wrist, legs sturdy straight. You can move the heels a little forward and back and warm up the toes. This is also warming up your wrists.
Keep the tailbone tucked. I like to lift my hips up a bit so the core is really active rather than letting the hips sink. But if you're doing that, just make sure that the butt doesn't lift up too high, right? We're not in downward facing dog yet. Plank pose. But now, push into your palms, lift the belly up and in, and go back to the down dog. So inhale, shift forward to your plank. Exhale, shift it back to down dog. And do this like 3 to 5 times, feeling how the hands and the feet actually stay the same distance apart. You're just hinging from the hip. It's like if I were helping you, I would be able to bring your hips up and back. Like I hold your hips and lift you up and back as you push into the palms. Okay, down dog. Look in between your hands, begin to step your feet up to the top of the mat. Important here to have all your toes face forward. And basically the feet are hips width distance. This is a really good way to measure your feet. Imagine my hands are feet. I swing my right heel in and I swing it back out. And this width, this length of my foot is the hip width distance. So if I did it with my feet, it's this. Right, the hips are the length of your foot. That's the distance you want between the two. 2 knuckles in between your feet also do that job. Then I want you to hang heavy, bend your knees, and really let your chest and your thighs touch so that the thighs become a sort of shelf to rest the chest onto. Try and drop the weight of the head so the neck is long as you look through the legs. Maybe you grab for opposite elbows. Maybe the hands are just onto the floor. But really imagine here as though your hamstrings were another set of lungs. And think physically how close your 2 lungs are to your 2 hamstrings. And imagine that somehow the hamstrings and the lungs kind of merged together so that when you inhale, you feel the hamstrings expand. And when you exhale, you push the floor away and feel the hamstrings and lungs contract. Inhale to fill up the space in the hamstrings. Exhale to feel the air leave and the muscles stretch. One more time, inhale. And slowly exhale, lifting the belly up and in. Good. Now slowly just roll up through your spine. Chin stays tucked in. And you eventually stack your body, heels, knees, hips, shoulders, crown of the head. Shift a little right, shift a little left. A little back, a little forward, maybe even making some circles with the pelvis so that you can feel the edges of the feet and circle the other way a few times too. And so we explore those edges so that you can find the center. Look forward, maybe close your eyes. Feel the center of your 2 heel bones on the floor. Feel the pinky toe edge of the foot and the big toe mound. So each foot's got a little triangle. 2 triangles. Steady. Try and lift your kneecaps up as you push the floor down. And feel how the fronts of the quads are active and turned on. This isn't to say jam your knees back, but it's to feel your ankles, your knees, and your hips in the same line. Then inhale, sweep the arms up, steady in your feet. And as you exhale, forward fold from the hip, bending the knees however much you need to. Inhale, take a halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And then from your hips again, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up, steady in those 2 triangles. Hands to the heart, forward fold. Take a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen the front of your spine forward. And as you exhale, fold back at your hip deeply. Last one, sweep the arms up, push through those 2 triangles of your feet. And exhale, hands to the heart, forward fold. Take the halfway lift as you inhale. And as you exhale, plant the hands down, step the feet back to your upper push-up plank pose. So I don't want to take you through those chaturangas because of the wrists. I want you to put your knees down to the floor and feel this variation. So with the knees down, you're going to put your chest and your chin and your throat to the floor, but keep your butt up into the air. Then it's kind of like you're sneaking under a fence. You push into your palms, slide the heart forward, put the hips down, and lift your chest up. And you can use your arms as much as you can to really lift the spine up. Don't lock the elbows, little bend, hug the elbows in, push into your palms. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, tuck your toes, push into your palms, lift the belly up and in, downward facing dog. So inhale, shift forward to your plank pose, lower the knees down to the floor, shift a little forward as you bend at your elbows, put your chest and your chin down to the floor. Then drop the hips, slide yourself forward and up for the cobra pose, shoulders back hard up, and then palms push, tuck the toes, draw the belly up and back into the downward facing dog. So simultaneously, bend your knees, but also try and bring your heels to the floor. There are contradictions, but I want you to try and do both so that the legs are active here. Steady palms for 3, 2, really lift those butt bones up towards the ceiling, then look in between the hands, step, hop, float to the top of your mat. Feet together for this one. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold at the hips. Then sweep the arms up, push the feet through the floor to look up, and bring the hands right to the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms down, wide, and up. Feel spacious. Exhale, forward fold, steady on the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, put that length in your spine. And when you exhale, hands down, step back to that plank position. Again, lowering the knees down to the floor. Shift your shoulders a little forward. Bend at your elbows like they could graze your ribs, and put your chin and your chest down, butt up. Then drop the hips, slide yourself forward and up to the cobra back bend, downward facing dog. Arms and ears in the same line. And as your tailbone kind of sticks up and back, steady in your palms. Slowly begin to draw your right leg up. And as you push into the limbs that are still onto the floor, open the right hip, so feel like the right hip stacks on top of the left, and find a bit of movement in this right leg. And move it around. Okay, we'll see how this feels. Take the right leg up. Now I want you to kind of sweep the right knee through, but actually kind of turn course here. Put the pinky toe edge of your right foot out. So you're taking your right leg to the left edge of your mat and beyond, and feeling the pinky toe edge of that foot onto the floor. Steady palms. Hopefully you're feeling some stretch along the outer part of the right leg here. If you can, drop your hips a little bit, and then push into your palms, lift the belly back up and in. 2 more times, drop the right hip like it's gonna touch the floor, but then push the floor away, lift your belly up and in. 1 more time to lower, lift, draw the belly up and in, bend the right heel close to the right butt, draw the right thigh up, and then step the foot through so that the left knee can come down to the floor. Back toes can stay tucked if you like, reach the arms up. So as you're reaching up, drive the right heel into the floor. Right heel drives down, right glute active. Squeeze the left butt into the center too. Reach up, maybe stretch a little bit back. Now place your hands down to frame the right foot. Tuck the back toes if they're not. Walk the right heel a little bit forward, scoot those toes, and then begin to send your hips back. And we'll do half splits here. So again, it's a great time if you have blocks or kind of something to lift yourself up a bit higher in. It's good. If you don't, it's okay. Up on the fingertips. Flex the right toes back towards your face. Try and keep your 2 hips square. Inhale, lift the chest up, look a little up. And as you exhale, fold the chest closer to the thigh. It's like the halfway lifts. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more time, inhale, halfway lift, flex the right toes. Exhale, forward fold. Now bend your right knee forward, walk the heel back a bit so you can put your left hand down, and reach the right arm up to twist. If you have some extra energy, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the floor, and hover that back leg. But if you need the support, left knee stays down. 1 more inhale here, opening up through the chest. And as you exhale, put the right hand down. Think right heel close to the butt, squeeze the heel in, lift the inner thigh up, and downward facing dog. From the down dog, just shift a little right, a little left with the hips, like if the tailbone had a tail, you kind of wag a little bit. Then take your left leg up, and when you're ready, open up the hip, find a bit of movement. Try not to lock out that standing leg, a little bend with the knee. On the next inhale, lift that left leg up. And like you're gonna go knee to nose, but then make a right turn with the leg. So take the pinky toe edge of your left foot across the mat so that the outer part of your left leg is getting some stretch here. Steady palms. Begin to lower that left hip towards the floor and then lift the belly up and back to go back up with the hips. So the hips begin to drop a bit and then lift the belly back up and in. One more time to drop the left hip down and then push the floor way back up. Bend your left knee, heel to the butt, and then step the foot through, right knee down to the floor. When you're ready, arms up for your lunge. You should feel it in the front of your right hip crease. Drive the left heel down, feel the back of the left glute engage. Squeeze the right butt forward. And then here it's really all about the quality of your breath. How are you breathing as you practice? Inhaling through the nose, exhaling. To help build the heat, if you keep breathing in and out through your nose, that's going to build the heat. One more inhale here. Place your hands down to frame the foot, and then you're going to send the hips back for a half split. If you need to scoot your left toes a bit forward, do it, and fold at the hip. Now imagine your hips, your pelvis are like a clock, and you want the 3 o'clock and a 9 o'clock. You don't want the left hip to spin forward. So inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, fold forward. Another inhale to lengthen in the front of your spine. And as you exhale, fold and feel the stretch in the back of the left leg. Really try and send your left butt bone back in space. Try and pull it back with just like your body awareness. Okay, bend your left knee. You're going to stack the left knee over the left heel. Right hand down, left arm up for the twist. If you want to, you can lift the back knee off the floor. But really the most important part is right palm down, through the arm, through the shoulders, looking up beyond your left thumb. Good, and as the chin and the left shoulder get close, still keep the back of the neck long, not collapsing. 3, use the exhales to push left foot down, belly lifts up. 2, 1, put your left hand down to frame the foot, squeeze the left heel to the left butt, lift the left thigh up in space, downward facing dog. Keep the toes tucked, shift forward to your plank pose. From your plank pose with the toes tucked, begin to lower the hips down, but draw your heart forward, draw the shoulders back, lift the chest up, like the crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling, and then push into your palms, go back to downward facing dog. Push to lift the belly up and in, downward facing. Inhale, take the right leg up, and then when you exhale, step the foot through. We're gonna spin it, we're gonna go to high lunge, so draw your arms up. Play on that back foot a bit, forward and back and forward and back, so eventually the heel stacks over the ball mount of the left leg. If you find that your butt's kind of drawing back, bend your left knee, tailbone towards the floor, so you hug the front body in strong. Reach up, and then just begin to tilt your chest a bit forward and draw your arms a bit back for this lunge. Now notice if your right hip is sliding forward, kind of slurp it back and in so that they're 3 and 9 o'clock hips. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, find the lunge. Inhale, lift up, sternum up. Exhale, chest forward, belly lifts up and in, strong. Last one, in and out. Go up on your inhale. Warrior 2 on the exhale, so spin it open. From your warrior 2, straighten right leg, palms touch over the head. Exhale, bend the right knee, look over the right fingertips. Inhale, straighten right leg, look up, straight arms. Exhale, arms parallel to the floor, look forward. Last one, inhale, up, make space. Exhale, bend the knee, move into that space. Keep the right knee bent, reach forward, reach up, reach back, reversing the warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down, frame the foot. Left heel lifts up, palms push down. Right heel to butt, lift the right thigh onto the sky. Downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to the plank, lower your knees down. Bend your elbows, lower down, chin, chest. Then drop the hips, slide yourself forward. Cobra, down dog on the exhale. Left leg up, inhale. Step the foot through, high lunge pose, sweep the arms up.
Take some time here. Again, bending that back knee if you need to. I like to put let's say, right hand on low belly, below your belly button, back of left hand to sacrum. And just use that as a little bit of feedback to make sure the pelvis is neutral and not tilting back. When you're ready, throw the arms back up, but still imagine a set of hands keeping you steady in the pelvis. Inhale. Now you're going to tilt forward and draw the arms back, tilting the pelvis a bit. So inhale back to neutral, lifting up. Exhale, tilting forward, the tailbone draws towards the back heel. Inhale as you lift up, think tailbone towards the floor. And as you exhale, tilt forward, think tailbone facing the back heel. Last time, inhale, go up. Exhale, take the lunge. On the inhale, lift up, and then spin it open to warrior two pose. Inner left knee drawing towards the front of your mat. Don't let it collapse in. Straighten out the left leg, palms press. Bend the left knee back to the warrior two. Inhale, press to lift up. Exhale, bend the knee, warrior two. One more. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse warrior, 4, 3. Inhaling, 2, 1. Cartwheel the hands down. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left leg back, vinyasa, or skip it to downward facing dog. All right, so at any point in this practice, you can really manipulate the breath. Okay, take your right leg up. This should feel good. Step the foot through. Spin it open like you're going to do warrior two, but then I want you to straighten your right leg. Turn the right toes so that your toes are facing the same side of the mat. Then inhale, reach your arms up as you push your feet down. And as you exhale, the arms wide, and you forward fold from the hip. Now, I just want you to put your hands under where your shoulders are. What we're trying to do here in this fold, maybe I'll angle my mat a bit, or angle me a bit so you can see this. The goal in this one is to get the crown of the head to the floor. But no sense in trying to do that if everything is curling in the spine. So I want your hands under your shoulders to lengthen your spine forward. And then when you exhale, keep this long spine and fold a little bit deeper. So inhales, make space in the front of the spine. Exhale, you just fold from your hips. Push into the feet evenly. And notice like if one hip feels like it's sinking as the other one lifts up a bit higher. It's like if you had a cup of coffee, you could balance it on your sacrum here and not spill it. Okay, now put your hands to your hips, and this is a good sign to make sure that you're not rocking the weight too far forward. The leg should be able to hold you here. So from here, inhale halfway up, and then fold back forward, hands stay on the hips. Inhale, push your feet to lift your chest up a bit. Exhale, folding, lifting the belly up and in. One more like this. Inhale halfway up, and then push down to lift yourself all the way up. Good. So from here, reach the arms up over the head. And let's do this. Arms can come down by the sides for a moment. You're going to turn the heels in a bit and the toes out a bit, so that when you bend your knees are going in the same direction as your toes. So they're not facing directly forward. They're not completely turned out. They're like at a 10 and a 2. And the feet pretty wide for this one. Now I want you to sit the butt down and bring your chest a bit forward. Put your hands on your thighs. Push the thighs down. Lift your chest up. So you're using your thigh bones to traction your spine. I think it feels pretty good. Okay, and now I'll do something called skater's pose. Keep this activity in your legs, but now I want you to tilt your chest a bit forward and stick the butt back a bit. And then what you're gonna do is bend your right knee and then reach your arms over to that side as you extend your left leg. And then you're gonna bend your left knee and reach your arms over to that left knee. And you're gonna move between this position. I'll try and show it from the side so you can see the angle. Butt
Shoulders, crown of the head like a ladder. And then just moving side to side. Here. You could go fast, or you can go super slow. But it's about working the hamstrings and the glutes before we stretch them out. Again, make sure that the angle, that the knee and the toes are facing the same direction. I don't want you to tweak your knee as you do this. Notice if you're holding your breath, try and breathe as you do it. Good. Okay, so straighten out your legs, reach the arms back up. Spin your right toes to face the front of the mat, go to warrior two. Straighten out your right leg. Reach your right wrist forward, bring the right hip back, and then you're going to tilt the arms for a triangle pose. So put your hand to your shin, will probably be best, as you reach the left arm up. For a moment, take your left arm, wrap it underneath like you could grab your right ribs and do it, and then bring your ribs forward towards the screen and reach the left arm back up. And why not, we'll try a bit of balance here. So I want you to look down at your right big toe and begin to scoot the left foot in a bit so that eventually you lift up off of your left leg and you're just balancing on the right leg. You can bend your knee however much you need to. Put the right hand down to the floor underneath your right shoulder. Left hand to that left hip so that eventually the two hips stack on top of one another. Energy through the lifted left leg. Heel back or point the toes. Either one's fine. This is an intermediate posture, so if you're struggling, all good. Keep breathing. Try and stack left hip over the right for 3, 2. Now bend your right knee so you can put your left foot back down to the floor. Straighten out your right leg. Reach up, make some space. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes to face the back. And then bend your left knee, warrior two. From the warrior two, straighten the leg. Draw the left hip backwards as you reach the left wrist forwards. And then tilt the arms so you're in triangle pose. Remember that left lung is there, so don't go too low. Don't feel like you have to put your hand to the floor. What you have to do is have space for the left lung. So wherever that left hand needs to go to keep that space. Wrap the right arm through one time, catch your ribs, draw the ribs towards the screen as you reach the arm back up. Okay, let's try and find that balance again. Look down at your left big toe, scoot the right foot in a bit, bend this standing leg however much you need to. When you're ready, lift the right leg, put the left hand down. Now you're trying to get your right heel up, but don't let the heel spin back. So try and picture the right heel and the right butt bone still in the same line. Don't let the right hip drop, push the floor away, fight against collapsing and let the hips open and square. Maybe you reach the right arm up, maybe you don't even need the hand onto the floor and you find this shape. Eventually, a couple of years to get there. Okay, bend your left knee, go back to warrior two, reverse warrior, make some space, and then pick yourself back up. All right, good. Turn your toes to face the front of the mat. Turn your right toes to face forward. And just step forward to fold. Good. Head heavy. Grab for opposite elbows. Breathing. Put your left hand down to the floor. So you got a triangle here. Two heels and left wrist make a triangle. Bend your knees. Put your right hand to your sacrum so that the hip stays square. Then begin to turn your chest. So think of right ribs reaching up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing through both of your feet. And maybe you reach the right arm up, or maybe it feels good to keep the hand on the butt so that you don't let the left hip drop. Both hips equal distance to the ceiling. Twisting by hugging the belly up and in for 3, 2, 1. Put your right hand down to the floor, replacing the left hand. Put the left hand to the low back, the sacrum. Now start to fan your left ribs up towards the ceiling to find this twist. But notice my left hip, I'm not letting it lift up. I'm trying to bend both the knees and really just spin the spine open. So think of from your tailbone to the crown of the head like a spit, and you're just kind of turning around the spit. Exhales really help dial in the core. Okay, hands down to the floor. I just want you to take your left leg back and we're going to move into the half pigeon pose. So toe heel your foot across the mat and lower down. Good, so I pull my groin, so I'm just going to do the figure 4 instead. So if you're in the half pigeon, I want you, before you fold forward, to kind of just shift a little right, a little left. And then once you fold forward, trying to remember to breathe. So think of these as you're doing half pigeon, which I think you should not be doing what I'm doing. Do your half pigeon pose. So you got 2 directions here. The closer you keep your right heel to your hip, the less intense the stretch will be. As you get more flexible, you can walk your right heel a bit more forward and the right knee goes wider to increase the angle and increase the intensity of the stretch. Until one day your right shin is parallel to the front mirror, or to the front of the mat. Probably also feeling it in the front of your left hip crease. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. So if you're down, slowly press your way up. Once you press up, you're going to push into your palms, take the right leg back. You can sneak in another one of those vinyasas if you like, or just downward facing dog. Feel the difference of the 2 sides as you wag the tail a little right, a little left, and then take the left knee through the center for half pigeon on the other side. Again, if you're feeling extra tight, putting something soft under the left butt bone can help bring the floor a little closer to you. I wouldn't suggest using like a block or books. They're kind of a hard surface, and it would benefit you more to have just like even a bunched up sweater under there to get the support. When you're ready, you fold down, shifting a little right and a little left. And what might feel good when you practice these half pigeons, as you warm up a bit more and get more open, I keep looking at the monitor when I realize the camera is way higher. In case you're wondering, like, where is he looking? So, something that can help deepen this stretch for you when you're ready is to put whatever leg is in front, you take that hand and kind of push the hand into the thigh bone. This is going to externally rotate your thigh bone, which means it kind of rolls away from you, and it will intensify the stretch at the hip. You kind of get the muscles out of the way a bit, is what it feels like. But as you kind of push that thigh bone away from you, I want you to draw your heart forward. So there's always 2 directions, and that helps make the space. Slowly exhale, empty out your lungs. Take an inhale and exhale. When you're ready, hands down, take the left leg back. Throw in another little vinyasa if you like, knees, chest, chin. If not, just downward facing dog. And then walk the feet up to the hands. Sit down onto your butt. Slowly roll down. So, keep the heels close to the butt. Push your feet into the floor and lift your hips up. So imagine like your ankles, your heel bones could slide up to your shoulders, but they can't move. And imagine the fronts of the knees could draw towards the front of your mat. So using the glutes, using the hamstrings, and slowly lower down to the floor. So on the inhale, push your feet down, lift your hips up. Maybe you even stretch the arms up and over the head. And as you exhale, slowly lower the hips back down and let the arms come back down by the sides. So inhale, push to lift, option to throw the arms all the way back. And as you exhale, slowly lower the hips, let the arms lower down to the floor. One more time like that. Push to lift the hips up, reach the arms up and back. And then exhale, slowly lowering down, releasing the arms down. Now, do the figure 4, so take the outer part of your right ankle and put it where your left thigh and your left knee meet. And then, push your left foot down, hands, palms face down. And as you push your left foot down, try and lift the hips up. So now you don't have your right foot doing it, it's a bit harder. Put the hips back down to the floor, pick your chest up, and do a little crunch forward. Then put the shoulders back down, push the foot down, lift the hips up. Lower the hips down, do a little crunch. One more. Drop the back, lift the hips. Lower the hips, lift the back. Okay, lower down, and then swap the legs. So now you got a figure 4 with the left leg closer to your face. So we're at the 45. We'll wrap up in the next minute or so. Stop. Okay, so push the right foot down, lift the hips up. Lower the hips down, lift your chest up, do a crunch. Drop the back, lift the hips up. Lower the hips, take a crunch. One more time. Drop the back, lift the hips. Try and keep your hips even. Lower the hips, take the crunch. And then lower down. Extend the legs long. So we're going to end here in Shavasana. So feel the shoulders, the hips, the heels stacking. That was kind of a more activating practice than the stretching. So if you have the time, it'd be great in like a minute or so to do some of those more passive hip stretches because your body's pretty warm now. Try and listen to the quality of your breath here though. Allowing the back half of the body to really be heavy, kind of sunk into the floor. As the front half of the body stays quite light and airy and receptive to the movement that the breath makes. And so we'll end here today. So exhale, empty out your lungs. Taking one breath together, slowly inhale. Really begin to feel your lungs get full. When you get full, hold the breath for 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Empty out your lungs. All right, that's it for today. Roll to a side, come to a seat whenever you're ready. Again, it's a good time to take some extra stretches if you have the time, a twist maybe. And